Peter waited patiently for his friends to come back. He wanted to go with Vorden, but the way Vorden had acted earlier gave him second thoughts. It didn't make sense for Vorden to attack Layla, no matter how worried he was. It was irrational. Something else made him unnerved. When Peter called him by name, Vorden said that wasn't his name. Peter wasn't sure what he had meant by that. Peter's mind kept turning, thinking about what he should do. Someone knocked on the door, bringing Peter out of his daze. Peter breathed a little easier. Are you guys back already? As soon as Peter opened the door, he regretted it. He tried to close it again, but the other person pushed it open. Peter fell to the ground. Mono stood in the open doorway. Looks like he's not here. Mono walked in, followed by 2 second years. Peter didn't have a good feeling about this. He remembered the last time they had met and how Mono had given Vorden a warning. Peter also recognized the second-year student behind Mono. It was the same student who kept Peter from going into the assembly hall to help Vorden. Mono shrugged, looking at Peter for the first time. Well, since you're the only one here, why don't you come with us? We have plans in motion. You might be the perfect person to help us. Peter knew he had no choice. Mono was a level 6 ability user. He was stronger than any of the current first years. Peter knew if he refused, he would become a target. Not even Vorden would be able to help Peter. These guys were too strong. Loop arrived to see his friend being held by a monster. Loop and Frank had agreed to meet on the roof to discuss what combat classes they should change to, now that they had been kicked out. When Loop arrived at the roof, he saw Frank covered in blood. It was dark, so it was hard to see clearly. However, Loop saw red eyes as the creature sank its fangs into Frank. Loop thought it was a monster at first, but he soon realized that the monster wore a school uniform.
Whatever you are, that was my
A bone grew out of Loop's body. It grew to the size of a small sword and was just as sharp. Loop pulled it out and threw it straight at Quinn. Quinn knocked it away with his gauntlet. Another bone sword flew at Quinn right away. Quinn knocked it away again, but he noticed Loop running toward him. Loop held a sword in each hand. He swung both bone swords at Quinn. However, Quinn managed to grab onto both of them, stopping them in place. When Quinn tried to use his strength to break the bones, nothing happened. Quinn realized their differing ability levels made a difference. Loop was a level 3 ability user. Loop's ability was stronger than Quinn's beast weapon. The two locked into a grapple. Quinn realized his strength was greater than Loop's. He began pushing Loop back. Loop took a deep breath. When Loop blew out, sharp bones sprang out of the boy's body. The bone spikes pierced Quinn's body all over. Luckily, Quinn avoided getting hit on the head. His hands were also protected by the gauntlets.
10 out of 20 HP.
It was a strong attack. Quinn felt pain throughout his body. Loop retracted the bone spikes into his body. He was ready to do the same again. As he breathed in, Loop noticed Quinn swipe his hand like a claw. Loop ducked down. Instead of hitting Loop, Quinn's attack hit the air. The red lines disappeared into nothing. Loop stabbed Quinn's foot with a bone sword. Let's see what you're hiding under that mask. Loop grabbed Quinn's mask. However, Quinn used all his strength to pull his foot from the sword. The bone sword stuck in his foot, ripped through his skin, and tore through his shoes. Quinn's foot was a mangled mess, but he was free. Quinn jumped back, ignoring the pain. He wanted to create distance between himself and Loop. This is bad. Loop has a strong ability, and he's a good fighter. My sloppy skills aren't going to save me. I'm stronger than him, but that doesn't mean anything if I can't hit him.
5 out of 20 HP. Blood bank auto use. 10 out of 20 HP. 90 milliliters left in the blood bank.
In an instant, Quinn's foot had healed. That's it! This is my only chance. His plan has to work.
20 out of 20 HP. 70 milliliters left in the blood bank.
Quinn used the rest of his blood bank to heal himself. As long as Quinn didn't take a fatal blow, he was sure the system would heal him in time. Quinn rushed forward. He cast blood swipe after blood swipe, swinging his arms out in front of him.
14 out of 20 HP.
Quinn used 6 blood swipes in rapid succession. They came out fast. Loop managed to stop the first blows, but he took damage by the end of the barrage.
8 out of 20 HP.
Loop thought he was done after the first attacks, but Quinn used blood swipe 6 times again. Loop's bone weapons could no longer take it. They snapped in half.
18 out of 20 HP. 50 milliliters of blood left in the blood bank.
Loop saw that Quinn wasn't letting up. He knew that those attacks would keep coming. With his bone weapons broken, Loop shifted tactics. Loop took in another deep breath. When Quinn was close enough, he blew out, making bone spikes appear all over his body. However, Quinn didn't slow down. He ran straight into the bone spikes, piercing several parts of his body. At the same time, he threw a punch as hard as he could. The punch sent Loop flying. Quinn followed up with another barrage of blood swipes.
5 out of 20 HP. 10 out of 20 HP. 40 milliliters of blood left in the blood bank.
Loop stood his ground, reinforcing his body with bones. He took the damage head on. Loop looked as though he would continue fighting. A moment later, Loop collapsed to the ground.
Opponent has been defeated. 50 XP has been received. 130 out of 400 XP.
Quinn caught his breath. The fight was a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. The only reason I could be that reckless was because of this blood bank skill. I don't want to think about what would have happened if I didn't have it. Quinn glanced back at Frank, still knocked out on the ground. Quinn realized that after he bit someone, they remained asleep for a while. This was good to know, but he wouldn't be feasting on Frank for now. He wanted a taste of Loop instead. Quinn walked over to Loop's body and cast his inspect skill.
Loop savvy. Ability, bone manipulation. HP, 1 out of 25. Blood type, O negative.
Finally, let's find out what the O blood type can do.
Subscribe now and start watching free episodes of the #1 fantasy show in this YouTube playlist. For the full story, click the link in the description, download the Pocket FM app, and watch all episodes of My Vampire System.